Okay. We're going to go through a bunch of things that we have to do to prepare to put lights on the plot, and then we're going to put lights on the plot. Okay? So, first thing we need to do is our label legend manager. Okay? That is under Spotlight, label legend manager. Okay? This is going to set up what information goes around our light. Okay? You're going to create a new one. I like to call it you could call it, Austin or Bob or Basic or whatever you want to call it. Okay? Okay, what do you want to call it, Tex? Robot? Okay. It doesn't matter what you call it. What you do need to know is however you capitalize it, you need to remember, because if you have one robot with a capital R and the rest of the letters small, and you could also have one called robot with all capital letters, and Vectorworks thinks they're different. Okay, next thing you have to say, what information do you need to include in your label legend manager? What's the one thing you're required to have in there? Unit number. Okay, what other things could you have in there? Color, dimmer, channel. I'm not going to put focus. So you have a list. You just put a checkbox, a check mark next to what you want to appear there. Gobo. Focus. Okay? And whatever ones you want to choose. Okay? And it asks you to choose a light that you're going to use as your basic one. Choose any ETC source 4 light, because you need to choose one to do your layout. Okay? And click OK. You are not done yet. You have just selected what information is going to be there. Click on Robot, and now you're going to say Edit Layout. Here is our light. It is a 50 degree. Doesn't matter, because this will just substitute whatever type of light it. You have to place the information. I like to put the unit number in the belly of the light. Okay, that's kind of standard. Okay, channel generally goes just below the light. Color goes just above the light. Gobo typically goes inside the light, although that can make it hard to read. And I tend to put focus above the light. Okay, once you have these things laid out, you can also, using your object info box, change what font this is. Okay, any font that's available on the computer. So I could have my focus be...
Yes!
I want to tell you, this causes me pain. But Comic Sans, okay? But I'm going to make it 4-point, so I don't have to see it, okay? Comic Sans, it's a horrible font.
It's the best font.
Okay? You can change the sizes. What information is the most important? Probably your channel number, your unit number, and your color are probably the most important pieces of information, okay? So I tend to make them a little bit bigger, okay? But lay this out so it looks good. Here's the great thing. If you decide later on that, oh, I don't like this, it's confusing to read, if you come back here and edit your label legend, it will update all of your lights on the light plot.
That's legit.
Okay? Okay? So I'm going to say this is okay for now. Okay? If you don't like it later, you can change it. If you come to your senses, Kirk, and stop using Comic Sans, you can change it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my font. I bought that one.
Yeah, unless it's just all helmets with lights that spell out different letters, I don't care.
Okay. So, guys. Okay. So, we haven't seen anything happen with that yet. We will. File that in the back of your head. To draft, you got to do a lot of setup. Okay. The next thing we need are focus points. Okay. We talked about those briefly. I like to put my focus points on their own class. Reminder to create a new class. Double click on the first tab. And new class. Focus points. Okay. Focus points are where the lights are aimed. Okay. Oh, let me turn on Act 1. Okay, so I'm going to just go through and put some focus points in. To do that, we need to go to Window, Palettes, Tool Sets. Your tool sets might be on already. And click on the Fresnel. okay, which is the spotlight tab, okay? Focus point is the symbol with the plus, the light of the plus sign. It's where you're going to point the lights. Okay, I'm going to create a focus point here. I'm going to name it A. And 5 feet off the floor, does that work?
Yeah.
Sure, because that's where actors' faces are. Okay? B. Notice since I called the first one A, it automatically calls the second one B. C. Okay? And you probably want to place these evenly and intelligently. I'm dropping them in now. Okay? Okay?
Where did you go from tool sets to do that?
Tool sets, spotlight, which is the Fresnel, and then it's this symbol right here, the focus point tool. Okay? E. Oh, I don't want E there. Okay. I just clicked E. I said, oh, I don't want it there. I can grab E with my pointer tool and move it. Yeah, I want E there. Okay, because I'm going to do these offset because I think that's going to work better. I have no idea whether it will or not. I'm just saying that. Okay? And I'm just putting a whole bunch of focus points down. J. K. L. and M. Okay. That's not a great focus point layout, but there you go. There's one. You can adjust it. Okay? Focus points go in. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is doing an area guide. So we talked about that you have your schematic, so you know where your lights go. I'm going to basically try to reproduce my schematic here. I'm going to do it around B, okay? So I'm going to just quickly draw a circle, and I'm going to set its window palettes. It's on attributes, okay? Window palettes, attributes. There it is. And make it hollow by selecting the paint bucket and saying none. Okay, so Jacob, how many front lights do you have?
I still debating on it.
Okay, well, give me an answer for the example.
I say 10.
Bad answer. Per area. 2. Quana, we're going to go with your answers. I like your answers better. Okay, so you probably have two, so you probably want them coming at about 45-degree angles. Okay. That's.
Just holding something snap to different angles on there?
Yes.
Control or hold it as, or
If you get close to a particular angle, it will tell you. There's 30 degrees. So 45 is about here, but apparently it's not snapping. Okay, and I'm going to just decide that for the moment I want my light coming off in that direction. I want my other light coming off in that direction. And Quana, do you have side lights? Do you have a backlight? Top light? What else do you have?
I'm not really sure.
Okay. Kai, what do you have?
Top light.
You have top light, okay. Well, top light's going to go pretty much right over top, as best as I can. Okay, so I'm drawing these lines in here. This shows me the angles I want to put my lights at. Okay? Now I'm going to start deciding what kind of lights I need and where I want them to be. You know what? I'm sorry, I'm just going to turn off Wi-Fi because it keeps connecting and interrupting us. Okay. I'm going to go under my resource browser. If it's not open, Windows Palettes Resource Browser, into the IrmaVep file. And if I scroll down, I have a whole bunch of lights. Okay? What kind of type of light do you want for your front light? Kirk. An ellipsoidal? Sure. Okay, so we got a bunch of flavors of ellipsoidals. I'm going to just guess because they range from 19 degrees to 90 degrees. So 50 degree, that's about the middle. Sure thing, okay? So I say, okay, I want my light coming off at this angle. Well, I've got a lighting position here, I've got a lighting position here, and I've got one back here. I'm going to try the back one. No, I'm not. I'm going to try the first one. First one I come to. Okay? Whoops. Stop. You need to select your lighting insertion tool. I had already selected it, but I didn't tell you that. Lighting instrument insertion tool. So I'm going to have that clicked, and it's going to click whatever my browser says is my light, and I'm going to stick it right about here. Click it twice. and see where it ended up. Okay, it ended up not on the first electric. That happens sometimes. Sometimes where there's a lot of lines coming together, it's easier if you try to insert the light over to the side where it's less confused about what it needs to insert on. Okay, now it says, it's on the first AP, and I can just drag it to where I want it, drag it over here, drag it over here. There it goes. Okay, there it is. It's on the first AP, and now let's go down here. Where do I want it to point? I want it to point at area B, because that's that area. And what label legend name do I want to use for it? What do we call it? Robot. Can you change its name? I don't know. I've never tried that. I'm going to show you another trick in a minute that'll make life a little bit easier for you. Okay? Okay. And this is my front light for my second area. So what channel number is it? Just take a guess.
4.
4, okay? Why is channel 4, but that's fine. Okay? You can put color information here even though you haven't selected specific colors. And this is going to be some sort of like, fun pink color. Okay? Does it get a gobo? Yes. Okay, what kind of gobo? What's the gobo look like? Pasta. Okay. And again, you can edit all this stuff later. You're putting stuff in here kind of as placeholders. Okay? Okay, and now look. Come on, I'm going to zoom in on my instrument. And look, it has a channel number down below it. It has, why didn't the gobo show up? Oh, because I didn't hit tab yet. The pasta shows up in it. The fun pink and where it's pointed. All that stuff is there. Okay? Let's say, I don't like the pasta. Because, the pasta goes over the 50-degree designation, so I think that's really hard to read. So let me go change that. Spotlight, label legend manager, robot, edit layout. You know what? I'm going to move my unit number down a little bit and move my gobo down a little bit, and that should clear everything up. Okay?
And then it's just going to automatically change it for anything that's already on.
It's already changed it. Nice. Okay. Now I said there was a little simpler thing you could do so you don't have to type robot all the time. Label legend manager. If I put a check mark next to robot, every light I put in, while that check mark is there, will automatically have robot assigned to it. Okay? So the next light, when I put in the next light, when we get there. Okay? So I want to look at this. I put a 50-degree there, and I want to see if this is a good choice. Okay? I'm going to do that by turning my beam on. Okay, my beam with a 50-degree from there covers 24 feet of stage. Good or too much?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's an awful lot. Okay? So that may not be, 50 degree might not be a good light, but let's also look at its position in space. I'm going to move around into 3D. Okay, and I'm going to shut the door in a second. Okay, and I look at that angle and I start to think, what would a light look like on an actor like that? Okay. Okay, I'm going to look at it straight from the side. Okay, that light really is coming straight down on them. Is that a front light?
Not really.
No, that's more of a fronty top light. So that's probably not a good place to put my front light, is it? Okay. So that's okay. We go back to our top view here, which, by the way, Command 5 will get you there on a Mac, and I think it's Control 5 on a PC. Okay, so I'm going to grab my light, and I know what angle I want it at, so let's try it from here. Wow, that beam is now really too big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, but let's not worry about that for the moment. Let's see if that looks better. Okay, I'm going to look at my right-hand view again. Okay. Does that look better? Yeah. It's still really steep, though, isn't it? It's still like way up there. Right, that's what I did. I moved the light itself the last time. I moved from the first AP to the second AP. Oh, I think that's a great idea, Jonathan. Let's move it to the third AP. Okay. By the way, look at my object info. It's saying it's on the third AP. It's smart enough to know. Oh, you're moving the light? Oh, okay.
See now.
Okay, now let's look at this. Okay. Okay. Oh, no, that's a good front. That's a good front light. Except, wow, that light's really way too big now, isn't it? Well, I could shutter it, but remember, if our light is a lot bigger than 10 feet across, it's going to be too dim. Okay? I'm going to go back to my top view. So I want to change it. So 50 degree is not such a good choice there. So I want it, I'm farther away, so I want something a little smaller degree-wise. You want to go to a 19 degree, okay? So I double-click the 19 degree, and it changes down here. Okay, I now go back over to my object info. I have the light selected, and I say, replace with active symbol. Boop. Now I've updated that light, and now it's a 19 degree, and I can see what the 19 degree looks like. How's the 19 look? Well, better.
If you're only
It's
lighting one actor.
if I'm on, yeah, it's a little small, isn't it? Okay, let's try. I don't know. Huh? Well, we figured out this was a good angle, though. So let's try a 26 degree. Replace with active symbol. Oh, look at that! That's going to give me that gets almost all the way to it gets all the way to area A and almost all the way to area C. So that's going to give me nice even coverage. So hey, that's pretty awesome. So a 26 degree on the third AP works great for area B. So here's the trick. Okay, I'm going to turn the beam off. That line I drew on my little guide, I'm going to extend it out to here. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, do you think the other front light from the opposite angle is going to be should also be on the third AP?
Well, yeah, if you like the angle.
If we like the angle, okay. If it's vaguely symmetrical. If it's not, then figure out where it goes. Okay? I'm just going to assume for the moment that, yeah, that's about right. So I'm just going to extend this out to here. And I'm going to put a 26 degree in there, because that's probably going to be good. Whoops. And I clicked it on the... Copy paste does work in this version. It didn't used to. When you copied a light, it didn't know it was a light when you copied it. Okay, so this is from the other direction. So it's going to be a sad blue as a color. What channel number is it? 14. Sure, why not? Okay, and notice, look, robot's already filled in here because we clicked that, and it's focus area B. And we can check and see how that beam looks. Oh yeah, that looks, it's going to cover. We looked, Okay. And now we need to do a top light, right? Mm-hmm. Now here's the issue with stuff on the apron in our theater. There's no place to put top light because the first AP is kind of right above, but it's kind of front top light. And the first electric is way back here. What do you do?
Dang stuff.
You can put a light position. You could.
Like the Romulan bird of prey, you just hang stuff.
Okay. Okay. You could talk and see if you can convince someone that you can add a lighting position there. I suspect you're going to get told probably not.
You get laughed at by Jeff.
Huh?
You get laughed at by
You get laughed at by Jeff. So, Quana, what's your idea?
Oh,
Was that a question?
I'm just extremely interested. Draw beam is 3D solid. What does that exactly do?
It draws the beam as it doesn't show you the beam of light. It just shows you where it's hitting. Okay. Right. So I'm going to ask Kai to repeat what he says since people were talking.
You kind of have to compromise your lighting design for this schematic.
Right. So
there's no safe place to hang your light.
So then you have to make the decision: do I hang it off the first AP and it's a little fronty top light, or do I hang it off the first electric where it's like major series backlight? What do you guys want to do? There is not a good answer and there's not a right answer here. First AP. Okay. What kind of light do you want to be your top light? For now, I think that's an excellent choice.
I'm not going for now.
I was thinking of car.
Okay?
Wait, after this, you should show how you put the position for a football.
I did a video on that already. Yeah. Okay. So
I
I put my Fresnel in there. Okay, double check that it's on an AP. Because, again, there's a lot of things for it to click to there. Yes, it's on the first AP. Color light, or top light color is top light. I'll fill in colors later. Channel, what channel number is the top light? 5. You have a weird channel numbering scheme, but that works for me. Okay? And the focus is area B, and we can look at the beam. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Okay, draw beam. And remember, on a Fresnel, it can be spot or flood focus. So can I get a nice 10-foot circle between those two circles? Absolutely. Okay? Okay, so here's my trick then with what a focus guide is. Okay? I'm going to turn my beam off. So these are my 3 lights in my composition. You probably have more, but I want to show you lots of stuff today. I'm going to click on my 3 lines and my circle. Okay, and I'm going to go modify group. Okay, these things are now all one object. So I figured out area A, I figured out exactly where to place my lights, right? Okay, area C, I drag my center point over there. And look, this tells me where to put my front lights. Okay, and because they're going to be hitting the same position, they're probably going to be 26 degrees again, right? Okay, now how do I match that when I go to area I grab my thing, drag it over there. Okay, I notice that these things don't quite reach the second AP, but they're pretty close. I can try stuff in there. Okay. Oh, and look, I can do a top light right above here. So here I don't have to compromise on my top light, right? Okay. And when I go to area L, okay, actually, when I go to area, let's come over here, area D. Okay, area D, wow, nothing hits, and over here I'm in no man's land. There's not even, so I'm going to have to compromise there. Okay, is that a bad thing? Well, yeah, it is, but there's no way around it. Okay, what did you say? Okay, what can you do? I sometimes put them in the box boom. I sometimes say, well, maybe I don't get quite as wide of an angle, and I scoot it in a little bit. Okay, do your little guide as your ideal, and then you got to make decisions on every light. Okay, but this is a quick way to do things. Does that make sense? Okay? Okay, area guides, focus points, label legends. Okay, so let's look at, I'm going to delete my focus guide because I don't need it anymore. You guys cool with that? Okay. Okay, now numbering the instruments. Okay? I said Vectorworks was going to number for you. That sure doesn't look like it has a unit number in it, does it? Okay, here's what I have to do first. I have to make sure that my lighting position what happened? Okay, that my lighting position has auto number on. This does not. Okay, I'm going to turn auto number on. Oh, there it is. It filled in. Filled in instrument 1. And if I were to look over here, this says instrument 2. So it is numbered. It has numbered from stage left to stage right. As long as you're consistent, that's fine. If you think it makes more sense to number from stage right to stage left, come over to your numbering direction. And remember, Vectorworks knows nothing about stage. So it's right to left on the drawing, left to right on the drawing. So left to right on the drawing. And there it just changed the numbering. So it's starting on the left side of the drawing to the right side of the drawing. Okay? And you can do top to bottom and bottom to top. Okay. Let's say when I put this light in, I accidentally somehow, my wrist slipped when I clicked it, and it was at a funky angle. And I'm just going to rotate it at the moment. And it looks like that. Remember we said we didn't want to do that, right? We want everything nice and square. How you can square that up is you select the light, and you go to rotation in your object info. And you can just type in 0, and there it straightens out. Or if you wanted to point to the side, 90, or point to the other side, negative 90, or point down is 180. Okay? Does that make sense? And you can, I just deleted the light. Don't want to do that. Okay, I want to put this back at 0 degrees. Okay? The other thing, if you look at my drawing, you notice the lights are all beautifully lined up. And you see this one's kind of, not, I'm going to put in a couple more lights for a second, just so I can have some lights here. Okay. Okay. These lights are all on the third AP, but can you look that they're not lined up perfectly? Okay. I'm just going to show you this now. If you highlight a group of lights, and you click on this tool, which is the Align tool, and I have those lights and I just draw a line, it says, oh, you want to align those lights. Okay, I'm going to select just Align, and look, all the lights now line up. Makes things nice and pretty. Okay. The other thing you can do with that tool, I'm going to click it again, draw a line again, is Align and Distribute. When we're hanging lights, we never want to hang lights closer than 1 foot 6 inches from the center of a light to the center of another light. If we hang any closer than that, we are going to have problems focusing because the lights are going to run into each other. Okay? Vectorworks gives you the option to automatically set your instruments. You can drop them on and say, okay, now just line them up so they're every 1 foot 6 inches. Okay, that's along 1 foot 6 inch centers. You can also evenly distribute lines between 2 points or inside 2 points. Play with those things. For the most part, that ends up moving lights, and I don't like that. Does that make sense? Because now this light is not where I originally drew it. It's farther off to the side. Okay? Command Z on a Mac and Control Z on a PC will undo the last command. Okay? But you do want to go through and make sure that your lights are not so close together that they can't be focused. Okay, because like if this light was like right here, the electricians, one light would be casting a shadow of the other one. And that's not good. Make sense? Yes?
So when you mean, what if one light doesn't go on at the same time as the other light? Is that,
But the other light's still there. Yeah. You generally do not want to hang anything closer. If it's pointing perpendicular to the pipe, you don't want to hang them any closer than 1 foot 6 inches. If it's pointing along the pipe, the closest you want to hang them is every 2 feet. Okay. The Vectorworks symbols are a pretty good size, so if it looks like they've got some breathing room, you're pretty good. Okay. That's just kind of the way it is. Okay. So we know how to focus lights. We know how to move them around. We've changed our label legend manager. We've auto-numbered. Okay. One of the things you do want to make sure you're filling in with every light is that you're filling in its channel number off your rough hookup. If you haven't done a rough hookup yet, do a rough hookup. Okay. And where it's pointing, its focus, because that way you can check the light. And by the way, you can check multiple lights at a time. Okay. So I can check my 2 front lights by holding down Shift and then clicking on the 2 lights and draw their beams, and I can see how their beams are going to look. Okay? Yep. Okay. And I can look at this and moving around in 3D and say, is this what I want it to look like? There we go. And go, yeah, I think that's what I want it to look like. Okay? Look at it from everywhere and go, yep, that's good, or no, that's not good, and move things to adjust. Okay? For next class. By the way, are there any questions on this? No? I'm going to stop the video then. Oh, shoot. Am I recording? Yes, I am recording.